Everybody, I'm Daryl Gilbert, and in this episode I'm going to show you how to build your own Snow Goose E-collar. Having an E-collar in the field when hunting snow geese is one of the most beneficial pieces of gear that you can have with you. Some days if you don't have an E-collar, you might as well just pack up and go home because they react so much better when you have an E-collar in the field with you. And having one that works well and is cost effective is what I'm going to show you how to build one today. So one of the first things you need, I'm going to go over the list of equipment here, is the dry box. You can use any dry box, but this is the style I use. It's just a white dry box here, and it fits the battery perfect, and it actually blends in the decoys pretty well. You know, you don't have a black box just sitting there or some multicolored box that you got to spray paint. This it's white, it blends in with the decoys, or you can just drop a shell decoy over top of it if you're that worried about it. But so you need the box there. You're going to need an amp. I'll show you which one I use later. You're going to need a power cable for that amp, and two little alligator clamps, I call them. You're also going to need two receptacles, and you can use the square ones or these ones. They're just the ones I had on hand. You're going to need a faceplate for the outlets, a gang plate like that. You are also going to need at least 100 feet of speaker cable. I would recommend 50 feet per speaker horn that you use. So if you're buying 100 foot, you're going to want to buy another spool on top of that, you know, maybe another 20 or 30 foot just to do all the wiring inside the E-collar with. On top of that, you're going to need your speaker horns. Now, how many you buy is up to you. This E-collar will be set up to run 4. I would suggest a minimum of 2, that way you can get sound out to both sides of your decoy spread or in front or behind you and get it away from you basically. So the cost is obviously going to go up with the amount of speaker horns you buy, but I'll show you which ones I use and how these ones are effective for me. But I would definitely recommend at least 2. So you'll need the speaker horns. Then with that, you're going to need 2 electrical cord ends for those speaker horns to connect into the E-collar. You're also going to need a whatever method you want for your amp. If you go with this amp, it gives you all sorts of options, but I use a micro SD card with my Snow Goose sounds programmed in it. This amp also comes with a auxiliary cable option, a USB option, or the new ones have the Bluetooth option. So whatever method you want, you're going to need that means of putting the sounds in the E-collar. You're also going to need a 12-volt sealed lead acid battery. These ones are what I recommend. You can buy them at an auto supply store, or you know, any store really carries these now, hardware stores. They fit perfectly in this E-collar box. It's almost like they were built for it. They just slide right in there. They don't move around, and they take up a little space in that box there. You're also going to need to buy a few self-tapping screws just to screw in the face plates on the E-collar. So for tools, super easy. You're going to need a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver, some sort of method of stripping wires if you have proper wire strippers or pliers here, and a drill just to make life easier. Okay, so from there, we're going to talk about the box here first. So the only method of setting this up is basically you need to cut the holes in the front for the gang plates and the electrical outlets. So really all you're going to do is just place them on there and take a measurement of the size of the gang plate. So you want to be able to mount the gang plate on there really easy. So you just want to basically size it out so that you're putting them at the right distances apart. Pretty simple to do, just measure them out, mark them with a Sharpie. This box is already cut, I'm not going to bore you with cutting it. So the way to cut that is to either mark it out where the plates sit. You can either, they're pretty thin, you can slice them with an exacto knife if you don't have a drill and a jigsaw. But if you have a drill and a jigsaw, just drill at the corners and just jigsaw it out. It takes a whole 30 seconds. So I leave a little strip in the middle there just to give it a bit more rigidity. Okay, so once you have that hole cut in the side of the box here, you're going to take your 2 electrical outlets, and you need 4 pieces per outlet of speaker wire. So I just take the speaker wire, I strip the two pieces of cable apart, and you want about 6-7 inches of cable there. And all you're going to do is just just strip both ends of them, twist them up, connect 2 to the same side on each electrical outlet, and then you're just going to twist the 2 from the same side. So take the 2 from the left side and twist those 2 together, 2 from the right side and twist those 2 together as well. So that's going to go into your connection to the amp. So we'll just prep those, and I'm going to get them in place. These ones are already pretty well done. So I just set them in there like that. Number 2 right here, this one's already done. Just going to put that in there. So then I take my self-tapping screws and I just fasten them to the dry box. When you set them, just make sure that you have them the right distance apart to fit in the faceplate still. Sometimes you might have to just adjust where they sit, the screw sits in the faceplate there. So I'm just going to double check that my faceplate fits on, and it doesn't. You can see there's a little bit, this one's already broken, but you can see there's just a little bit of space there, so I just need to basically just unscrew this one a little bit, just push it over, and screw it back down. So from there, now it fits perfectly, see that? Find my flathead screwdriver, and I'm just going to screw the faceplate on. So just going to screw in that faceplate, super easy. This one's used, it already has a crack in it, but and that's basically it for the setup of the dry box. So what you're going to do is inside, you've got all your speaker wire in here now. You've got 4 sets of 2. So you make sure they're all twisted together. So you can grab your amp, and on the back of this amp, this one has just simple, easy click connections there for speaker wire. So what you want to do is, it doesn't matter which side you pick, but 2 of those connections have to go into the positive side, and it doesn't matter if it's the left or the right side. So I'm just putting 2 of the positive, make sure they're the same ones on the same side, and then from the same outlet. So this is from the same side here, they're going into now the negative side of that terminal. Super easy, they just push in and connect, and then you're going to do the same for the other side. Just make sure you've got your 2 go into the negative and 2 go into the positive, doesn't matter which ones. So that's the amp all connected now. It's just as simple as that. I don't mount the amp in this box. It really doesn't make a difference to me. It doesn't move around anyways. Like, it sits in there perfect. If I need to switch it out, I don't have to unscrew anything or poke any holes in this dry box. So from there, you take your power cable, and you just need a standard DC connection cable there. I add in a fuse here. That's just in case you cross up the terminals and fry the amp. But so I cut the ends off it, and I'll screw on 2 of these alligator clips here, and I mark them red for positive and negative, because people always just open up the dry box and just switch the connections and blow your fuse, and you need to do all that, switch it out. But super easy. You just take your power cable, push it into the power cable slot on the amp. So now that's that. I use a lot of extra cable for the power cable in case I have to, in case say my battery dies that's in the e-collar and I didn't bring a spare. Maybe I've got a rotary battery, or I've got you know, a booster pack or something else in the spread I can run it off of. I've got a little bit extra cable, so I don't have to just restrict it to running it into something that's in the box here, just a battery that would be contained inside. I can run it outside. So I'd leave yourself a little bit extra cable there, but wrap it all up nicely. Your battery goes in there, and yeah, you just hook her up to the battery. You can see it turn on right away. So that's on high, it's already playing my tracks. So leave that running for right now. So then we go on to, let's move that out of the way, onto the speaker horns. So the speaker horns that I'm using, these are 8-inch pile speakers. You can get them on Amazon, the link's in the video there. But I use 50 feet of cable on each one. The reason I do that is just the width of your spread. You know, maybe you want 100 feet if you're running a huge spread down south, or you know, maybe you don't want as much, maybe you don't have as many. You can dictate how long you want your cables to be, but I use 50 feet. I don't do anything with the cable. I don't camouflage it. It blends into the fields pretty well. Just gonna unwrap this and show you how I do the connections here. But this is 50 feet. You really don't need to do anything with it. So what I do here is basically you just have a positive and negative coming off of the speaker horn, and you've got your positive and negative on the speaker cable here, and it doesn't matter. You can go either side, it doesn't make a difference. So just hook one to one and one to the other. And what I do is you could solder them together if you wanted to. I don't bother because my stuff's all ready in case somebody breaks it in the field. I can just repair it right away. So what I do is I just quick connect them, just twist them up and mark connect them. Then I wrap it in electrical tape, and I actually bend the cable over itself, and I electrical tape that too, just as another kind of, not safety feature, but just a safety feature for the cable, that if somebody kicks it, it's not gonna pull the connections apart. It has a bit of leeway there. It can, you know, the tape's holding that loop in place like that, and if they were to break it free, then it's got that much to break, and then it also has another loop in it. So that's as simple as that is. It's really simple. And I just wrap the excess cable up around the speaker, so when you're done hunting for the day, you just wind it up around the back end of the speaker here. 50 feet is what I use again. Don't camouflage the cable, it doesn't make a difference really. Then on the other end, all you're doing is taking an electrical cord outlet, and you're just gonna unscrew the front 3 screws on it. Super easy. Everybody's probably done this at home, fixing extension cord or something. So you pop it off, then you've got 3 terminals in there. You've got your ground, which you don't need, and you've got your positive, negative. And it doesn't matter again for the speaker wire. You're just gonna connect one wire to one side and one to the other. So you're gonna connect those up. You're gonna feed the cable through the back end of the plastic connection first. Then you're gonna connect these 2 ends. And then you're just going to screw it back together, and that's it there. So the same thing, what I usually do with this is I'll loop the cable and I'll wrap it around. That way if somebody's walking by and they kick the cable, it doesn't pull the ends right out of the electrical connection right away. So that's all you need to do to set up the speaker horn. The speaker horns vary in price, but the ones that I use here, all the links in the video there. But depending on how many speaker horns you use, that's going to increase or decrease the cost of your e-collar. If you're running 4 speaker horns, your price is going to go up $100 basically. But at least run 2. I would run 2, that way you can get the sound out to different ends of your spread. But so we'll plug it in, see how it sounds. It's that simple. You can run any one in any terminal here. That's it. Adjust the volume a bit lower here. It's the volume on high. Gets pretty loud. And then with more speakers, obviously you're directing more sound opposite ways. Let's grab another one, I'll plug that in, give you an idea here on that. So we'll plug that second one in here on the opposite side. So you can direct sounds out both different ways. Up. So that's that with setting up the basics of the e-collar there. It's super easy, really cost effective, and man, they work great. There's companies that will try to sell these maybe with a different brand amp. I used to buy the amps that they used in them, and I actually had a lot of issues with them. And I mean, some of these guys will charge $500–600 for these e-collars. So you can produce this one for around $200 depending on how many speaker horns you want. But these amps also come with a remote, So you can just make up a quick lanyard, and you have your remotes on there, you know, volume and track and play, pause. It's nice to have. I just throw it on a white lanyard, so when I'm in the blind there, super easy. It's right on around my neck, easy to find, and works good. Just these ones don't really work very far away, so you do have to keep the e-collar somewhat close to your hide position. Just the box. That's why, depending on how much cable you run, you can go 100 feet. You can do whatever you want for length of cable there. You could run 300 if you wanted to, but I usually keep the unit near myself in the blind, or 2 units. I'll keep one on either side of me, and I can control either with either remote and the volume. If the remote dies or whatever, because these stupid little watch batteries always go bad on you. And that's it. Now you've got the dry box. It's a self-contained unit. It's super easy to repair, light, doesn't take up a lot of space. You know, you can store that in a garage easy. The speaker horns don't take up a lot of space. The only recommendations with storing the speaker horns, I would say, is they can get brittle when it's cold out. They're just plastic, and probably not the best stuff, you know, made in China plastic, but don't stack things on top of them. Like if you have your decoy bags, you don't throw the e-collar in the bottom of your truck box and throw the decoys on top, because you will crack these speaker horns. But really, they'll still work if they're cracked. You could repair them with white electrical tape, or as long as you don't mess with the cone and the system. But super easy system. Works really well for us. With these amps, you can run multiple options on inputs. You can, you know, if you have tracks on your phone, you can use an auxiliary cable. You can just plug one end into your phone if you have, you know, the proper connections for whatever type of phone you're using. But standard auxiliary cord into the amp, into your phone. You can run sounds off your phone. You can run it off an MP3 player if anybody has those anymore. But I use the SD card method, and that way it just stays in the e-collar all the time. People don't take my my tracks out of there. So that's it. That's how you can build your own e-collar. It's super effective, super simple to build. Hopefully this gives you some insight. Maybe you can modify things on your own too. Maybe you want to change the amp to something Bluetooth, Bluetooth speakers, who knows. You can get pretty fancy, but the distances on Bluetooth doesn't work that well for what my application was, so I still use the cords. But yeah, maybe this will save you a few dollars. Maybe this will help you kill some more birds. So on the next video, we're going to talk about hides and what type of hides I can use to hunt snow geese. Hopefully this one gives you an idea on how to build an e-collar and helps you kill some more birds. But if you did like it, please like and subscribe, and watch on the next video, as we're going to show you all types of hides for snow geese. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.